Hi, we are back in the Bluegrass again today. I'm your host, Steve Farno. This is the channel where we discuss all things to do with living in and around Central Kentucky as it pertains to real estate. Today we're going to be discussing the NAR settlement and what that means to you as a consumer, whether you are buying or selling a home. So I'm sure you are aware of the NAR settlement. It was in the news a ton throughout the summer. On August 17th, the new regulations were put into place. And so now we are all living under these new rules and regulations. The focus of the NAR settlement and kind of the origin of it has to do with commissions, who's paying what, where they come from, and really increasing the transparency of that process, whether you're buying or selling a home. We're going to dive into some details here and kind of make sure that you understand from the buyer side and the seller side exactly what you need to be aware of as you are looking to enter into any kind of real estate transaction. So let's dive into some of the details here. So for the sellers and their listing agent, they still have an exclusive right to sell agreement that they will sign, which will state the commission that the listing agent will get paid. And they're also going to discuss in their process what, if any, commission they'll be willing to pay to a buyer's agent. Now, where the buyer's rep agreement and the listing agreement come together is in the offer to purchase. And we'll talk about that next and how that relationship is so critical to this process now. So on the buyer side, the first big complaint was that the sellers were paying both the buyer's commission and the seller's agent's commission. And while I can argue that maybe wasn't entirely the case, now the new regulations state, one, that a buyer client must have a buyer rep agreement signed with their buyer's agent before they're even able to go and show a house. And so what that means is that the commission that the seller or that the buyer is going to be paid to the buyer's agent is clearly stated up front and at the very beginning of that relationship. The second big piece of that is, like I said, you won't be able to see a house and have a house shown to you as a buyer with a buyer's agent on any property listed on the local MLS listing service unless you have that buyer's rep signed. And so this is awesome because it forces that conversation to be had. It forces the agent and the client to have that conversation to understand exactly what that agent is getting paid and for what services they're getting paid for. Where the rubber meets the road in this process now is very much the offer to purchase. The buyer and the buyer's agent are going to be bringing that offer to purchase to the seller. And in that offer to purchase now, the buyer is going to have that agent's commission included in the offer. And where this is really impacting home sales is in the prices. In the past, it was assumed that the commissions for both agents were in the price of the home. Now, that buyer's agent price isn't really considered to be part of the sale price now. That's going to have to be negotiated in after the fact or in that initial process. And so now we're looking at a buyer's agent with their rep, a listing agent with their seller. The offer to purchase is where those will come together. And that is when the commissions will be finalized and we'll know exactly what the commissions are going to be paid and where that money is coming from. But this is a process that's going to take agents some time to get used to, some clients some time to get used to, and it's really important that you have an agent who knows what's going on and understands how this is going to impact their process. And it's so important now to have agents that understand what's going on, that have been having these kinds of conversations, been involved in these conversations in their market centers and their brokerages for months and months like we have here at KW Bluegrass. And I really can't stress enough how important it is to make sure that your agent explains this to you and make sure that they understand what's going on in this process. So as this process evolves for folks, we know that we've been dealing with one of the most expensive housing markets in history, and affordability for buyer clients is extremely difficult. It's at an all-time high level for buyers. And if they suddenly have to now come up with commissions for their agents, it makes that process even more expensive and even more unaffordable. So I think one of the things that's key here is having that buyer's agent that understands that and is going to assist their client to continue to be able to buy that house and figure out how to make sure that that's not monies that's just coming out of their pocket. A lot of folks might say that nothing's really changed, everything's the same, agents are going to continue to do things the way they always have. And I don't think that that's the case. I think this has forced the conversation. It has put us in a position to have some high-level conversations within our office with our agents to make sure we understand how to have meaningful conversations with our clients, to understand our value, our services, and where those monies are coming from. I think moving forward, this is only going to help buyers and sellers on both sides of this equation and make the process even more transparent and even more clear-cut. So last thought here, one of the things to be aware of on the selling side has to do with your asking price. In the past, forever, homes were listed and the commissions were being paid for both agents out of the proceeds. So now suddenly we're looking at a situation where you're listing your house and you're not necessarily going to be paying that buyer's agent commission. So is your house now worth 3%, 2% less than it was a couple weeks ago? Maybe, maybe not. I think that this is a question that appraisers and lenders are going to have to wrangle with as this evolves over the coming months. I do believe that things are very much the same, but I do think that now everything is out in the open. I think that you, more than ever, need to have quality representation, whether you're selling your house or buying a home, to make sure that all of these questions are answered correctly and that you are protected as a buyer and as a consumer. So if you have any questions, if you'd like to learn more, please reach out, schedule a meeting with me, give me a call. I'd love to discuss this with you further. If you have questions, I'd be happy to answer them. We'll leave some links down below so you can follow up with some more information on the NAR settlement and get a little bit more information and kind of dive deeper into that if you'd like to. But as always, thanks so much for tuning in. Hit the like button, smash that subscribe, whatever it is that you're doing out there these days. We'd love to hear more from you. Leave some comments, say hello, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks so much.